For centuries, the Galactic Empire had ruled the stars with an iron hand. Its fleets blotted out suns, its banners flew over conquered worlds, and its admirals believed no force could ever threaten them. In all their vast records, Earth was nothing more than a forgotten archive entry, an undeveloped world at the edge of the Orion Arm, long deemed insignificant. So when the Imperial scouts reported a human signature in a backwater system, no one cared. They assumed it was a smuggler or a relic satellite drifting through space. But when the signal pulsed again, carrying an ancient Earth military code, curiosity gave way to arrogance. An entire Imperial fleet was dispatched to investigate, not because they saw a threat, but because they wanted to mock whoever dared to use an old human transmission pattern. The fleet arrived with ceremony. 200 warships glided into orbit around a barren world, their silver hulls gleaming like predators basking in sunlight. The lead dreadnought sent out a transmission demanding identification. For a moment there was silence. Then, from the shadows of the planet's night side, something moved. A massive silhouette broke from the darkness, a shape the Empire's sensors struggled to read. It wasn't sleek or beautiful like the Empire's ships. It was rugged, angular, and scarred with age. Its hull plating looked ancient, almost industrial, built not for display but for survival. Along its flanks, faded markings read UNS Titan. The name meant nothing to the Empire's commanders. To them it was just an artifact, a relic. The dreadnought commander laughed over the comms. You come before the Empire in a museum piece? Identify yourself before we dismantle you. Static filled the channel. Then a calm human voice replied, steady and cold. This is Captain Reeves of the UNS Titan Earth Defense Command. You have entered restricted space. Withdraw immediately. The Empire's officers burst into laughter. A single outdated warship threatening an entire armada? It was absurd. They did not know what the Titan was. They did not understand that it was not just a warship. It was a ghost of Earth's forgotten wars, built during an era when humanity fought monsters far beyond anything the Empire had ever faced. Centuries ago, before the Empire's rise, Earth had turned inward. After the last interstellar conflict, humanity had abandoned its outer fleets. The Titan was the final product of that brutal age, a prototype built for a war that never came. It was powered by experimental reactors, shielded by alloy composites that no one had since replicated, and armed with weapons that were locked away when peace came. The ship had been lost after a test jump went wrong, vanishing into uncharted space. Now somehow it had returned. The Empire's commander ordered the fleet to advance. Sensors tracked the Titan's movement and targeting locks began to form. But the human ship remained motionless, its engines silent. Then its forward sections opened, and energy readings spiked off the charts. The first volley came without warning. Blue-white lances of energy erupted from the Titan's broadside, slicing through space with unnatural precision. The lead dreadnought's shields flickered, then shattered. The next instant, the massive vessel disintegrated into a cloud of molten debris. The surrounding cruisers barely had time to react before another wave of fire tore through them. The Empire's admirals shouted orders in panic. They had never seen weapon signatures like these. Their data systems couldn't even classify them. The Titan wasn't firing lasers or plasma bolts, it was unleashing something older, something designed for total annihilation. In moments, a third of the fleet was gone. The rest scattered, trying to regroup. But the Titan moved with impossible grace for its size. Its engines burned with light that distorted the fabric of space itself. Each time it appeared, another cluster of Imperial ships vanished. Inside the Titan, the bridge crew worked in eerie calm. Most of them had been in cryo-sleep for centuries, their memories of Earth preserved in frozen time. They had awakened to a galaxy ruled by strangers, and now they were surrounded by enemies who saw them as relics. Captain Reeves stood at the center of the command deck, eyes fixed on the tactical display. Target clusters 7 and 9. Fire at will. The gunnery officer obeyed. The ship's weapon systems roared again, unleashing devastation that rippled across the void. The Empire's vessels exploded like fragile ornaments before an ancient storm. When the enemy tried to retreat, the Titan followed. Its main engines pushed it forward at speeds beyond modern comprehension. Every few seconds, a new explosion lit up the stars. The Empire's communication lines filled with screams, warnings, and disbelief. One admiral demanded reinforcements. Another begged for permission to flee, but it was too late. The Titan's main weapon, an orbital compression cannon, came online. Energy built along the ship's spine, gathering into a beam so dense it warped light around it. The beam fired once and the Imperial flagship vanished, torn apart atom by atom. Silence followed. Only wreckage drifted where the fleet had been. The survivors sent out emergency signals, but the Titan ignored them. Its sensors swept the area, confirming there were no more hostiles. Then slowly, the ship turned toward the Imperial capital's direction. In the Empire's high command, panic spread like wildfire. Reports of the massacre reached the Emperor's court within hours. The data was so unbelievable that analysts accused the field commanders of lying. But when the visuals came in, real-time feeds of a single black warship annihilating hundreds of Imperial vessels, the truth froze every voice in the chamber. "What is that ship?" the Emperor demanded. No one had an answer. The analysts scoured archives, comparing hull designs, weapons data, and energy signatures. The closest match came from a record more than 2,000 years old, a design filed under Terran prototype. The Emperor leaned forward. "Terran, you mean Earth?" A cold realization swept through the room. Humanity had once been considered extinct or irrelevant. The Empire had ignored them for generations. Now, one of their forgotten creations had returned, and it had done what no known fleet could do. Meanwhile, aboard the Titan, the crew reviewed the battle logs. The damage reports were minimal. The ship's shields had absorbed everything the Empire threw at them. Captain Reeves stared at the tactical data, his jaw tight. "These aren't the same humans we left behind," said his second officer quietly. "The Earth we knew is gone," Eves nodded. "Maybe, but the duty remains the same. Protect humanity." They didn't know how long they had been adrift. Time dilation from their failed jump had pushed them centuries forward. The galaxy had changed. Empires had risen and fallen, but the Titan had not aged. It was still what it had always been, a weapon built in an age when humanity refused to bow to extinction. As the ship approached the border worlds of the Empire, resistance gathered. Dozens of fleets mobilized, desperate to stop the lone warship. Propaganda broadcasts filled the airwaves, calling the Titan a threat to galactic peace. But when the Empire's armadas engaged, history repeated itself. The Titan fought like a living storm. Its systems predicted enemy trajectories before they were even fired. Its armor shrugged off impacts that would have obliterated modern dreadnoughts. Every battle ended the same way. Wreckage scattered across the void while the Titan sailed on. On neutral worlds, word spread fast. Merchants, smugglers, and refugees told stories of the human ship that fought entire fleets alone. Some said it was a myth. Others swore they saw it appear out of nothing, destroy its enemies, and vanish again. The name Titan became a legend. The Empire's scientists tried to study the battle recordings. They couldn't replicate the energy readings. The materials used in the Titan's hull were beyond their comprehension. Even its reactor signature seemed impossible, as if the ship drew power from the fabric of space itself. Soon, the Empire realized the truth. They couldn't destroy what they didn't understand. After a month of failed assaults, the Empire's rulers made a desperate decision. They would lure the Titan into a trap. They sent out a false distress call from a colony world, broadcasting a human voice pleading for help. The Titan detected the signal and changed course. Captain Reeves hesitated, but the voice sounded genuine. If there were survivors of humanity somewhere in the galaxy, he had to find them. The ship entered orbit, scanning for life signs. That's when the trap was sprung. From behind the planet's moons, hundreds of warships emerged. They were equipped with prototype weapons, copied from fragments of the Titan's battle data. Beams of energy converged on the human ship. The sky lit up with fury. Inside the bridge, alarms blared. Shields dropped to 70%, then 50%. The crew worked with cold precision, rerouting power, recalibrating defenses, adapting like predators under pressure. Captain Reeves gave the order. "Deploy counterfire. Target the lead vessels." The Titan's response was overwhelming. Its ventral cannons unfolded, releasing micro-singularity shells that tore open the fabric of space. The Imperial fleet broke apart as gravity wells swallowed entire squadrons. The few that survived tried to flee, but the Titan's main cannon charged again. One blinding pulse ended the battle. When the light faded, there was nothing left but silence and drifting ash. The Titan's engines dimmed. Damage reports scrolled across the displays. The crew was exhausted, systems strained, but the ship still stood. From orbit, the wrecked planet's surface shimmered. Among the ruins, scanners detected something unexpected: human life signs. A small settlement hidden,